Everyone for being here. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Kate?
Here.
I have an excused absence noted for Chair Johnson. Commissioner Kelly?
Here.
Commissioner Oakes?
Here.
Commissioner Early?
Here.
Commissioner Schreiber?
Here.
Commissioner Sloan Buchanan?
Here.
Awesome. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, do we have any public or employee comments?
Nothing scheduled.
Nothing from the gallery there. IFFF Local 3438 report. Like that. Looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Looking for a motion approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, we're looking forward to our quarterly division presentation by trim this down just in case.
All right. I got the right button. Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is a quarterly brief from our Support Services Division here of the department. Today, I'm going to focus on apparatus and fleet management. We kind of split this up into three briefings: the facilities management on the next quarter, and then the remaining of the portfolio after that. So, on to our apparatus and fleet management. So we're up to 54 now pieces of apparatus. That's divided there between suppression units, EMS transport units, and staff units. And then we have some support equipment as well. And all of those are maintained by our two fleet mechanics, emergency vehicle technicians. So Ian Wilson, who's our lead, he focuses mostly on the suppression apparatus. And then Jeff Davis does our EMS vehicles and our staff vehicles. That's kind of the division of labor. Part of that, what Ian does, besides the servicing and repairs, he also does pump testing of all our fire apparatus, as well as the lots of fabrication and repairs using his welding skills. The support equipment improvements. So what we've done this past year from last year is we were able to procure 2 more additional portable apparatus lifts. This allows us now to have 6 to get our 3-axle vehicles, our 2 ladder trucks and tender engine 90 in the air at the same time for Ian to work underneath it. We updated our welding capability by getting a TIG welder, and we installed the diesel exhaust direct connect hose system at Station 97 with some extra hoses for the maintenance side. So no matter which direction the vehicles are on the lifts, we're able to connect their tailpipes to it for the capture of all that exhaust. So that's a lot of apparatus as far as 18 for that Ian does, and then they both kind of work on the brush trucks together. So it's a full-time job for sure for those guys. In fact, we've been doing so much maintenance, they've been working a lot of overtime the last few months. On the EMS unit side, I'd like to just show how much we've been using our EMS units. So if you look at the bottom section there, we put 198,000 plus miles on our rigs, EMS rigs this past year, compared to 189 plus the previous year. So that was up 9,000 miles. And again, this is, speaks to the fact that we've got to look at 1 to 1.5 new EMS units per year based on how much miles we're putting on them. You'll note on some of them we may see something from 1 year to the last year went down, and the only reason for that is we had used our reserve vehicles a lot, put 28,000 miles on our reserve rotational rigs. When we have a rig that is down for an extended period of time, we're really relying on those rotational rigs. And you'll notice on 2 of them, we're over 140,000 on inventory 97 and inventory 62. So we rely on those, and those are going to start to age out as well, which again strikes the importance of needing to get new rigs. So that was, we replaced the frontline rigs. We're getting mileage left on the those rigs that we're replacing to serve as the rotational rigs. So there's years left on those. But transporting more, using more EMS on the EMS calls. Suppression vehicle side, you'll note that engine 96 with 5,000 miles on it. We didn't use it the previous year because engine station 96 was really not in service until the last full 12 months. That was number 3 in amount of mileage. A lot of that has to do with them coming down to cover station 99 that engine 97 used to do. The other thing of note here is the reserve engine. We put 3,400 miles on just one of our 2 reserve engines, which is a lot, and we put over 4,200 miles together on both of those reserve pieces of apparatus. So we rely on those just as well as the reserve units for the ambulances. I will note on the suppression side, so ladder 99 is now 30 years old. We've had a couple maintenance issues that one of them we're dealing with now on some brakes. And Ian brought it back to station 97, and as he had it up on the lift, he was looking at something and started the engine, and the engine just started hunting all by itself with no input whatsoever. So had a lot of investigation. Possibly an ECM was going bad, but we were able to get he drove all the way down to Snohomish to find a manual that has that particular year to look into the Detroit diesel, and was able to troubleshoot something to save the cost of having to replace an ECM. But in talking to Pierce, they were recommending the ECM change out too, but because of Ian's persistence, he found out we didn't have to do that. But we're getting to the point where it's 30 years old now with we have 93,000 miles on it. And I had a long conversation with Ian about it today, and we do use it as a reserve ladder, but we're looking at whether or not we want to continue to use ladder 99 as a reserve ladder. So if ladder 48 goes out of service, we would likely then just use one of our fire engines to replace that while ladder 48 is down, and they'll just run out as engine 48, just because we're starting to be concerned about the viability of that as a frontline piece. We can still use it for training and what have you, but we can talk a little bit further that. But one of the things we need to start looking at, and it'll be dependent on the levy bid lift, is looking at a new truck to spec out to get in the next 4 to 5 years. So that'll be the next thing we're looking at. But that is one side of the suppression apparatus that is a concern right now. On the maintenance issues of note for the last year, we had some major stuff. We had to replace the transmission on the BC rig. And Medic 48, if you remember, we had a code transport on that motor vehicle accident here on 5/32 in April. And en route to the hospital, the engine started overheating. They made it to the hospital, but it ended up that the engine had to be replaced. And it had to do with a plastic elbow that was going from the coolant line to the box AC system. So $17 part cost us a $25,000 engine replacement. That is, you can have a picture of it real quick here. That's after we remove the engine on the left. The old engine is in the center, and the new engine there on the right is already installed by Jeff. He's actually, when I was leaving to come here, he's about ready to turn it over for the first time. So I told Ian to leave the apparatus bay so we only lose one person instead of 2 if he did. But yeah, so he's done a lot of that kind of stuff before, so I'm sure it's going fine. But that was a big task to get that engine removed and replaced. Talking to some of the local folks around here, is like, you guys are doing that yourselves? I'm like, yep. Engine 97 and engine 99 spare, which is inventory 71. We put new fire pumps in both of those. And then engine 97, we also had a new transmission electronic control module put in. Engine 99, which is, if you recall, we bought two Pierces together, engine 99 and engine 90, and so relatively new. The Husky foam pump is a proprietary Pierce product that industry-wide, nobody likes them. They are hard to calibrate, and they just stop working after time, and it's a piece of garbage. So we replaced that one with a Foam Pro, and Ian did that on his own and had to get creative to get it to change out, but he did so, and it's working like a champ right now. So likely in the future for those two units that we have on order, we will go with a Foam Pro option vice the proprietary Husky in those two. Ladder 48, if you remember that, we had some cable issues. We had to replace a cable that we even found was damaged, and then had to retension both of them. Again, the folks who came to inspect it were thoroughly impressed that Ian was able to do that. So we saved a lot of money on him being able to do that for us by putting it out. And then I had a big radiator and fan hum replacement on that rig. And the engine 46 is our newest Pierce. Problem with ordering fire trucks is no matter who you order them from a manufacturer standpoint, they give you about 1 year warranty on things. And as things start breaking, you still have to pay tens of thousands of dollars for replacement parts that should not fail, you would think, after a year. The ladder racks on our apparatus, they're mounted on top, and through a hydraulic actuator, they'll come down to the side for the folks to get it. Well, there's two of them, one on each side. We already had lost one of those actuators, failed, and had to be replaced. So Ian was able to do that, and then we had to do a complete engine harness replacement as well. So not impressive with having to do that type of maintenance on such a new rig, but it is what it is. On the vehicle procurement update, so 847, if you recall, we had two part-timers that we hired to transport the 847 unit down to the Fire Trucks Unlimited company that's doing the remount down in the Vegas area. We saved about $3,500 in doing that. They were going to charge us $7,000 to ship it down there, and when it was all said and done with flights and gas and hotels, it was about $3,500, so we saved a good amount of chunk of change, and there was a list of 15 people that wanted to do it. So we have no problem in the future, if we're going to do that again, to use that same route. The new Lifeline ambulance that we ordered a year and a half ago looks like it's going to be delivered either the late first quarter of 26 or early second quarter of 26. So that is slid from December to first quarter. Now they're talking possibly early second quarter. We did, if you recall, you approved the purchase of two surplus units from old staff cars from South County Fire. So we're finalizing that right now. I talked to them yesterday. They're finalizing the invoice for us to pay, and then we'll take possession of those. And then the new service vehicle that we put in the 2025 budget came off the Ford line about a month early, so it's already at the upfitter, and their estimated delivery is the end of October. So a lot of work is happening with our two mechanics. A lot of overtime in the last 3 months, and will probably continue for at least the next 2 months as we play catch up with all the major work that we've been doing. But necessary to keep up with the demand. We had put in the budget for hiring another person that would be half facilities and half apparatus maintenance, but looking at where we are with the budget right now, that's on hold. But we could use that person if we find the capacity to do so. And then next meeting will be in September. I'll go over facilities management, and then kind of focus a little bit on the administrative side as well. And that is my brief for today. Any questions?
Yeah, I have one. Is there any
Sir.
difference in height that those different ladder trucks will reach? Are they the same height, or how far the ladders extend?
The ladder 99 is 110 feet. Ladder 48 is, I think, 108 feet or something like that. So pretty close. Yeah, and you can purchase them. I think I think the longest you can get one is about 125 feet, but that starts getting to the point where Washington State doesn't allow that heavy of a rig to be on their roads. We may look at, because of the new high-rise hotel that the tribe is putting in over there, that we can maybe get into a conversation with them about assisting with that new ladder truck purchase, because it would really be used in our first due area for that facility. So, something to look at.
Thank you.
Okay, when the levy passes, then are we looking at another person? When you talk about a person with combination,
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Did you have another question, sir? No.
Anyone else have any other further questions?
No. Thanks, Doug. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Very nice.
Move along to unfinished business, and seeing we have nothing scheduled, move on to new business. Nothing scheduled, so right to the chief's report.
All right.
Quick and efficient meeting there, Mr.
I'll remind her that one.
Yeah. Remember that.
A lot of stuff occurring training-wise the last couple of weeks. Chief Kuntz is not here with us because he's up at the training center. Last week we did some 4 days of aerial ladder training with Marysville using both rigs, both agencies training up new personnel to work on the ladder trucks. And this week, we're again working with Marysville at the training center, rotating pretty much every station, every crew through live fire evolutions in like 2 to 3 hour increments. So we've got like a roving engine that's kind of moving between stations, doing backfilling while crews are rotating up there. So a lot going on at the training center the last couple of weeks. We mentioned last week in Chelan, just the EMS billing. Randy's got invoiced Fire District 21 today for about $169,000 for their 2024 ALS service, and Fire District 25 also for about $31,000 for the second half of their 2024 service. And he had already billed Fire District 19. We had the retreat in Chelan last week for about 3 hours, which was very helpful to me. I appreciate that. We'll probably look to do that same thing in the fall, more budget focused in like mid to late October. And Randy will kind of take the lead on that one as a kind of a budget retreat. We did mention, I think Commissioner Ertley mentioned the possibility of a 2-year budget, which some cities have gone to. By complete coincidence, today I ran into Kristen Garcia, the finance director in Arlington, and I mentioned it to her, and her first reaction was, she says, I'm not sure if you can. When the legislature created that language, it was just for cities and towns. But she's like, look, and so I came back and I looked it up in the RCWs, and they've amended it where special purpose districts can. So Randy's going to communicate with Kristen kind of with the pros and cons of a 2-year budget. We may decide it's not something we want to do, but we're going to explore and learn more. We have a lot of summer events coming up. I mentioned last week, Carrie's been great about building a calendar of all of our summer events coming up. These are just general public events with things like the street fair in Arlington and the fly-in at the airport and Stanwood Car Show, Arlington Car Show, Stanwood Parade. It just goes on and on. And then mixed in with all of that is the fire levy kind of educational visits with really any group that we can get in front of. So a lot coming up here the next couple months. We have the training center meeting on Friday with the small group. I think that's Commissioner Cade, Commissioner Schreiber, and why am I drawing a blank? Thank you, Chair Johnson. Thanks, Gary. So yeah, we're doing that Friday at noon to 3, whenever we wrap it up. We have negotiations on Tuesday, and I'm hopeful that we may wrap it up on Tuesday. So after like 14, 15 months, we are very close. You agreed to surplus the boat a couple weeks ago. Tulalip Fire reached out. They have interest in the vessel for a training boat. And so they actually came and picked it up today. They're having a mechanic look at it. And Richard Davis is drawing up interlocal for us just to kind of transfer the ownership of the boat to Tulalip. So that'll come before you in the coming weeks. The update on the Fire District 21, the joint staffed ALS unit. It hit a little speed bump that I reported on last week in Chelan. That has been worked out. The Snohomish County EMS and Washington Department of Health have given us the thumbs up and green light to proceed. Awesome. So I just sent Chief Schmidt an email this morning that we will start that on Monday next week. So everything is on schedule there. Wildland season is starting a little sooner than we expected, than we would like to see, but we're starting to see some grass fires, and I'm hearing them around the county just on the radio. So looks like a little rain coming next week, but things are drying out sooner than we would expect. Autumn is in the process of onboarding 8 new part-time members soon, because we're doing a little proactive this time in that we know that we always lose them in mid to late August with the September hiring. So we're bringing them on a little bit early. Just a couple last minute things. We talked about the budget. I had breakfast just the other day on Tuesday with Mayor Roberts and City Administrator Sean Smith. Just kind of a quarterly check-in. How's everything going between us and the city? It was very good. Last week I had my quarterly check-in with Paul Ellis, the City Administrator in Arlington. The community risk reduction contract calls for just a quarterly meeting, so it was very good. So yeah, I look forward to building on that and improving that relationship moving into the future. We had our monthly battalion chief meeting yesterday, the second Tuesday of the month. We meet with all the battalion chiefs, and we invited the Camino battalion chiefs to come. So we had 2 of the 3 here. Just a discussion about our battalions working more closely with theirs and kind of how we can help them out and they can help us out. And as an example, if our battalion chief, if something happens here in Stanwood and our battalion is at Station 48 at Smoky Point, the Camino battalion is definitely closer. And so we have the ability to communicate with them. They have a different dispatch center and they're on a different frequency, but we've worked all that out. The cell phone numbers have been exchanged and we're going to encourage them to, have coffee periodically, lunch, whatever, just kind of build on a relationship and start helping each other out back and forth. Doug, today there was a little work party, a couple things going on today. So if you can visualize Station 46 in downtown Arlington, that hillside behind the station, the property line actually goes to the top of the hillside. So it's kind of our responsibility to maintain that. So the blackberries and all the things grow up against the station. Once a year, we just have a little work party and we clean all that up. So we did that today. And at the same time, Doug had Snohomish County out with the vac truck and we cleaned out the tanks at the training center. So the 2 large railroad tanks that are in the ground. The water was removed. The vac truck sucked all the sludge out of the tanks, and now we'll refill it out of the well, and we'll have clean water in the tanks. So it's something that we've learned we got to do about once a year, right?
Nice.
Yeah. So that is about it. A lot going on. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
No, none.
Thank you.
That was very
Yeah.
thorough.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you. Well, we'll move along to board discussion and commissioner comments. Any comments from the board? Al?
I just wanted to thank the engine for being in the parade bicycle at Cedar Home this morning. They kind of led that off, and so good visibility.
Did Captain Booth get you a photo or anything?
I haven't seen anything come back, but I was told that firefighter Braga was the guy, and I'm confident he probably did that, but I haven't seen it.
There's kind of a fun little event. Cedar Home Church is, I don't know, a mile north of Cedar Home Elementary, and so it was a end of the school year thing. Parents could drop their kids off at Cedar Home Church, and then they bike to school, like this big mass group of kids riding bikes. And so, yeah, Captain Booth and Engine 99 led them back to school.
I've got some pictures too if you want them.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Any further comments from commissioners?
I have none.
Seeing none, go to the order. Anybody have anything for go to the order? Hearing nothing, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Also move.
Seconds.
I'll watch.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion carries.
Good to be back, everybody. Yeah, it is.
Record time.